I'm a single parent, and my son David and I lived with my parents on Brock Street in Dundas, of course. And we were fortunate enough that there were many young boys on the street. When I grew up on Brock Street, it seemed to be girls, but he was lucky enough that there were lots of children for him to play with, and grew up on Brock Street and
Sorry, is there a radio on? Am I hearing?
oh, maybe that radio is just a bit.
Oh, yeah,
it just.
Sorry, I just turned down the volume, so
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
want to hear it, you can
yeah.
just turn on the volume. Okay, so you were saying growing up on Brock Street, there was lots of boys.
Yeah, and we were close to the skating rink and swimming and the trails of the ravine and Webster's Falls and Two's Falls. And then when he was growing up, he joined baseball, Little League, and all the other baseball groups as he aged, and was very involved in sports and played baseball and also hockey. And we were, it was a great source for my father to go with him to play his hockey games. And then when he was older, then he was still playing. I don't know whether it was slow pitch or not, but he was very involved in sports. And then we could toboggan. We're close enough to the golf club that we could toboggan up at the golf club. And he was very active, and we always seemed to be busy, and then as he grew, I'm finding this very difficult.
Oh, sorry. Take your time. Do you want some water or anything?
No.
I mean, I'm offering you water in your own house.
No. Does that seem all right, what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're talking about him growing up.
Yeah.
A person, a man.
Yeah. And at one time when he was playing hockey, he had hockey practice at 6 o'clock in the morning before school, which meant a very busy time on mornings when he was practicing hockey. in later years, he used to play hockey at night, a pickup game, and he said, the reason we have to play at night is the kids today don't get up and go early in the morning like we used to. So anyway, then he worked as a pipe fitter, and went out west on a project for a couple of months, I think, and then he worked on another project in the States for a bit, where the work was, and he married, and they lived on the mountain for a bit, and then they moved to Waterdown.
What made him become a pipe fitter, do you know?
What
made him become a pipe fitter? Like, what got him into that, do you know?
Because he knew some older boys that were in the trade, and he thought that they were doing very well. Yeah. And it worked out well for him.
Where did he meet his wife?
And he met his wife through one of the boys from town was going out with her girlfriend. Yeah, and that's where she met him. Yeah, and so they married in 1975, I guess, because this was their 40th wedding anniversary. And so they had two lovely girls, and Stephanie, the older girl, she has continued on with his love of hiking up at the peak area, and so he's always been very fond of Dundas, and would come back to Dundas to live, I'm sure, if he could find the right spot. But the right spot never seems to open up. But I have been very fortunate to have had him as my son, and had great enjoyment with him.
Well, I guess you got to spend a lot of time with him growing up as well, right? If it's just you and him together. So, I mean, you definitely did a good job then, if you're happy with him.
Yes.
Did you find that tough at all in Dundas, just being a single parent? I was hearing that at that time there wasn't as many single parents around. Or did you have a nice kind of net of people?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. There was no problem, sort of, and my sister and her family lived by the plaza, and we were very close, and they had 3 children. Yeah, which made a difference. Yeah, and then one nice little story was the Christmas that he got a beagle pup for Christmas. And my father, I had picked out the dog before, and my father and I went up at 10, 11 o'clock on Christmas Eve and with a 6-quart basket and brought the dog home. And it was one happy boy on Christmas Day, that's for sure. Yeah.
What was the dog's name?
The dog's name was Chief. And one of the kids said, you can't call her Chief, she's a female. I said to him, it doesn't matter. You can call her Chief. So Chief was a really great street dog. Yeah, so he was very close to, as most people are to their animals anyway. Yeah.
Did the dog ever get in any trouble or anything, or cause any mischief?
Not too much. Not too much. She was pretty good. But, we would take her up in the ravine and let her off the leash, and she'd run, and but no. She was very good. And was a great street dog, and all the kids knew her, and
Do you think the other kids were jealous on the street that your son got this dog, or?
I don't think so. I don't think they were. Although I was, when I don't know how old the dog was, and I had her, and I was down by a veranda of a family, and the mother was there and one of their boys, and she said, "How old is Chief?" And her son said, "David got Chief the year Sherry was born," his sister. And as if, yeah. So they knew when he got the dog. Yeah.
So I guess sports seem to be a big part of your son's life. Did that carry on? Does he still play here and there, or?
Oh, he was still. I don't know what he belonged to, and they belonged to it must have been a slow pitch team or something that they used to go out on tournaments. Yeah. So yeah, he was always interested in sports and playing, and
Did your son ever get in any trouble as a kid? I know you said he did the ravine stuff more in his teen years, but did he get in any mischief as a child? Did you have to keep him in line, or?
I think it was more when he was older. When, yeah, he was a pretty good kid. Yeah. There were a lot of boys in town around his age, and they were all not too bad, I guess. You have to have some mischief in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Dundas would be a good place, like a safe place for mischief, you know? It seems like anyone who got in any mischief, it wasn't too bad.
No. No. It was very good town to grow up in, that's for sure.
Did your son like school at all, or did he not like it at all? Or did he just
He was not a student. Let's put it that way. He made out, but he wasn't interested. Mathematics, maybe. I'm sorry, this isn't.
Oh, don't worry. It's all good. I'm thinking of questions as well. I'm like, okay, where do we want to go?
We were lucky enough that we had relatives. My mother was from a family of 6 girls and 1 boy, so we visited family, and her older sister lived on a farm, and at one time she invited her sisters and their spouses to come for a weekend. So I drove them to west of Brantford, and then I took David and my niece Lynn with me to pick them up the next day. And that day, Uncle Robert had a baby, had some lambs born, a lamb born, and wasn't doing very well. So he brought the lamb and put it in the oven. And the look on these 2 kids' faces, they were about 10 or 11, when he saw him put this lamb in the oven. It was something that, well, Lynn still remembers. Probably David does too. But yeah, and they had family reunions at the farm. Yeah, always. Yeah, and he's still friendly with my uncle's one son. Yeah, he said he's like a brother to me. Yeah.
So did they kind of grow up, like, are they around the same age and everything?
Pardon?
Your uncle's one son, you said, and your son? Was that, sorry. You said your uncle's one son?
Yeah, and
and
David. Yeah,
David.
they're very close. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're very fortunate that the family and their cousins have sort of always been in touch. Yeah. And so that makes a real family. Yeah.
Did you ever worry about your son at all? Like, I don't know if you got his driver's license or
Well,
school and...
he didn't get his license right away, I don't think. Because it was always, we used to take him down to the park or on the back roads and that. And yeah. But, well, I guess there's always worries. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to pinpoint one worry when you're raising a child.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah.
Did he have anybody in town who he kind of really looked up to?
Oh, probably my sister's husband.
Why do you think he looked up to him?
Oh, he was all, well, he treated him as one of his own, really, yeah. Yeah, I don't, and thanks to the coaches of the hockey teams and baseball teams, you know, he always looked up to those men that volunteered their time. Yeah. And now he has 2 grandchildren, and he certainly is enjoying it. Well, the boy is 3, the girl is just a baby, a newborn, really.
Where do his grandchildren live? Like, where's his...
They're in Uxbridge.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't really have much of his own family in where he lives. Like, close to, right? He's got to travel, I guess, a bit of distance to...
No. And Lindsay's in Toronto, yeah. The younger girl, yeah. But my father worked on the railway, and before I had a car, well, we used to go to visit my relatives in Petrolia, and we'd go on the train to Wyoming and my uncle would pick us up there. Yeah. So, and David was, I had I probably got a car when he was about 10 or 11. So we used to visit my relatives in Petrolia quite often.
Did having, like, once you got your car, was it easier to kind of do more things? Did you find yourself leaving the town a bit more?
I got the car in the summertime, and I said to my father, take holiday, and we went on a trip. I guess it was before school was started, and I just got my license, and we went up through, and I remember, I think I drove as far as Deserato, about 125 miles, and that was it. I had to stop. we went up to Ottawa. I think I went around the circle, one place. Anyway, I took my father. My father was a veteran, and I took him to the Parliament buildings and to the veterans location where they turn the page every day and name them and have the veterans' names. That would be about 1960, I guess. And then we went up through Algonquin Park and home. And my girlfriend said, I didn't know how you did it. And I said, I don't know how I did it either. Yeah. But I guess everybody has an experience when they're first learning to drive. Yeah, and then my father was a real baseball fan, and the Jays didn't start to play till 1977. So anyway, we went to Detroit and saw a baseball game in Detroit, and then we went around the lake to Cleveland and saw a baseball game. Yeah, so he got to see big league. Yeah, so I did take a few trips, I guess. Yeah.
So did your father drive at all, or were you doing?
No, not at all. No, we never had a car. No.
So was that kind of, if you never had a car growing up then really either, was that kind of like, I guess, a really weird experience for you to, after all these years, just have your own car? And
Oh yes. Yeah, because I was about 40. Yes.
Do you remember taking your driver's test?
Yes, I was working at the time, and I booked my driver's test for morning, and I told them I would be late, and I failed my driver's test. I didn't tell them I was going to be late, and so then when I went in, I said, well, I'm going to be late again tomorrow, so I'll tell you why. Yeah.
How nervous were you taking it the second time the next day? Did you?
I don't I don't know. I do sort of the people that giving you the test, are different also, Anyway, no, it was no problem.
So where did you take your test?
Where did I take it?
Yeah.
In Hamilton, because I worked at downtown Hamilton. I think I did. Or I don't know. I think I can't honestly say for sure. Because I did, when I was working, I used to take driving lessons on my noon hour, so in Hamilton, so probably it was booked through there. But prior to that, I used to ride the bus into Hamilton, yeah.
So after you got your license and you were still going to work, did you just drive to work?
I used to drive to and park my car at Dundas Castle and walk in from there.
Just to not deal with the traffic, or?
Well, it was finding a place to park, and so that I didn't mind the walk, so that worked out pretty good, yeah.
Not much has changed in the way of finding parking downtown.
No, oh heavens, no. Oh. But it was an experience, that's for sure.
Was your son into any music or anything?
No. No.
And he took the train with you a couple times when he was younger?
Oh yes, indeed, yeah.
Did he like that? Was that, I don't know, I've always been a fan of trains since I was a kid.
So yeah. I can remember once we got the train, and probably, because the train went through to Sarnia, and he met this young boy about his age on the train, and these two got along really well. And then when we came back, who's on the train? this young boy, yeah, which was, yeah. Oh yes, he liked the train, yeah, because he rode on the train till he was older. As a matter of fact, he went on a see the world, and ended up in Vancouver, and he didn't have any money to fly home. So anyway, he just had enough money to take the train, and I guess it was a long ride.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, and that's when he come back, and I guess then he ended up in Toronto and had to hitchhike from Toronto and that, and I guess when he went into the house and he said to my mother, "Feed me, feed me." Yeah, but that was a lot of hitchhiking at that time.
Yeah, it was probably a bit safer.
Oh yes, yes, yes. He was one of the boys' family had a cottage, Port Elgin or someplace, and he could go up, and he was going. There were two or three. I think there were three of them were going to go. Well, you can't. Nobody's going to pick up three people, so they drew lots, and he lost, and he had to go by himself. And so he, would you drive me up out of town? So anyway, I drove him up, and then he said where he wanted to get off, and open. So then I had to turn around and come back, and I thought, how am I going to pass him? But he'd already got a ride.
Oh, really? At that time?
Wow. Yeah. So he used to go up to that cottage a bit, yeah, the boys.
So did you ever you didn't worry too much when you were dropping him off and to catch rides?
He was probably 16 or,
Yeah.
Well, he certainly worried about it, but he had to accept it. He was hitchhiking. I guess he was going up to that cottage. He was hitchhiking someplace, and this guy stopped, and it was a guy that had boarded down the street from us. And he was around the Guelph area or something.
Wow.
he said the guy, I won't tell anybody where you're going, that I picked you up. So, nobody knows you're out of town, sort of thing. But anyway, that was quite a surprise for him. Yeah.
Nice. It's probably nice to see a friendly face when you're doing that too.
Oh yeah. But people did hitchhike certainly more in those days. Safer than it is today.
I imagine less people had cars too, so it's kind of, the odds are with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what made him go on his quest out west? Did he have a reason, or just to?
Well, he went with somebody. There was somebody from town moved down California way or something, and they visited back in town, and anyway, somehow they decided that he and this other kid met the girl, and they decided to go. So David decided to go along with him. So they went, I don't know exactly where, but I've forgotten a bit about it.
Did you find other parents in town, were they a bit more strict, or because you seem very accepting and kind of welcoming with your kid, and kind of you have a large sense of trust? Did you find other parents had less of that or the same amount?
Oh, about the same. There were a group of them that sort of that were real close, and they got along together. I know that when they have the Cactus Festival, that on the Friday night, the boys that were out of town, they used to come in on Friday night to meet up with their friends. But they were always out having a good time.
Was that kind of the big thing to do in Dundas? Like when Cactus Festival came around, is that?
Oh, Cactus Festival is yeah, it's quite a big do, yeah. It's sort of a weekend. I think they have a parade, and I just forget when it is, but yeah, they have a parade, and maybe the parade is Friday night, I don't know. But I know they usually try to get to town on the Friday night, the boys, so.
Do you have any other stories you can think of? About your son, about yourself? Oh, sorry, I said about your son or about yourself? Anything you want to share that?
Well, I guess one thing I would say that we did have a girls' basketball team in town, and we were out of school, and we had quite a good team. Yeah. We went around to different places to play basketball.
What was your favorite place to go? What ended up being your favorite place that you went with the basketball team?
I think we went to. I think Brantford had a good team. Yeah. I've just forgotten. then it was one of the girls decided that we needed practice, so I don't know whether we rented the high school gym or they just let us have it, and they got some of the guys from town to practice against us. and this one guy's never forgotten it. It was quite a deal.
How'd you guys do against them?
Pardon?
How did you do against them?
I don't know. But it was just practicing, yeah. Yeah. We had a sports week in town, and the store had been a drugstore next to Piconi's, and it was vacant, and so they used that to display sports photographs and things. And we had a photograph of Nick Genovese in a blind tournament and talking to Bob Hope. Yeah. And so we had people that were on the committee going in and taking turns staying in. So I was in the I was one of the ones that used to go and be in the store, and my son was in the he was working at that time, and he had met this guy working, and the guy said to him, "How do you know so much about Dundas?" And anyway, it turns out that he had grown up in town. So I was in the store looking after these sports things, and some young man came in, and he said, "I was at the Union Hall and Dave said that you were here." and so he came down to see me, because he hadn't seen me for years. Yeah. Yeah, so that was quite exciting. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, David was, I think he said Labor Day, he met this guy, and who now lives in Burlington, and David said, he said, "I love Dundas. Yeah, I go out and go to the peak." Yeah.
Do you think, like, because you played a lot of sports, I guess, over the years, right? And in the end, do you think that kind of rubbed off on your son?
Well, yeah, I guess. My sister was a baseball player, but that wasn't my game. Yeah, I played golf. I got my 50-year plaque for belonging to the golf club.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I got my hole in one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it was great at the golf club. We had lots of fun. And then the curling rink is right there, attached to the golf club. It's one of the, Dundas is one of the first clubs that have their curling rink attached to their club at the golf course. Burlington has it now, and several others too. It's quite common.
So how is it playing golf now? Because did you start playing golf because before you could see?
Oh yes. I've lost my sight 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And you said Nick Genovese was kind of an inspiration to you in that aspect?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. I don't know how I could have accepted it so well without him. I really don't. And he lost his sight in his teens, I guess, late teens.
I tried to look him up a bit after you were talking about. I tried to look him up after we talked last time, just because I found that interesting, and you were talking about a bit about the Bob Hope picture.
Uh-huh.
So I was just looking up, and I found some just a couple old articles had his name in it. It was just about the blind golf tournaments he was in and stuff. But he just seemed like I guess a very inspirational character in your life. So I just kind of looked him up a bit just to see what I could find. But yeah,
he married his nurse. I don't know whether his son's still around town or not. I know he has one son. I think it could be John. I don't know. Because he lived on the corner of Brock and King Street when he had children. Yeah. Yeah. Quite a guy.
Yeah, both you and your sister talked about him, so that piqued my interest in him. Just you both spoke so fondly of him that I just seemed like a great guy.
Yes, but when he when he lost his sight, the boys his age were very, very good to him. Yeah.
From what I've gathered, Dundas kind of seems like that kind of welcoming town. Like, at least if you're from around here, people kind of, for the most part, kind of welcome and work together to keep the town going, which is beautiful.
When you interviewed the Bocconi brothers?
Not yet. I have John. So one of their sons works at the museum as the educator. He's in charge of education. So I'm gonna bug him to get to the two Bocconi brothers.
Is it? Oh, does he? John, yeah.
So he's I don't know his full title, but I know he's in charge of education at the museum and stuff. He's a great guy. And
Yeah, he is.
If his grandfather and his brother are anything like him, then they must be great guys too.
Well, probably Lynn, my niece, and Ray moved down to, oh, I forget the name of the street now, in the east end of town. And she sent around to the neighbors to come and get acquainted. And one of the neighbors turned out to be Leonard Bocconi and his wife. And so Lynn had my sister and brother-in-law and I down for a visit, so we could visit with Leonard Bocconi. Yeah, and anyway, Leonard had lived down there for quite a number of years, I guess. Yeah. And so, anyway, they're quite friendly with Ray and Lynn. And John, I was forgetting John. John was Leonard's brother, the older brother. Yeah, yeah. Joe was the older one. Yeah, but John is a real nice guy. Well, so is Leonard, of course.
Well, yeah, I only know, I guess it's, I don't know, maybe Leonard or John's son, whose name is also John.
Oh, I see. That it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not John Bocconi. It's I guess John Bocconi Jr. technically.
Oh,
in that sense, yeah.
I don't. I guess that must be John's son. I don't know. I know he has a daughter, but I don't know. I don't know. That must be his son. Yeah. So is he on staff at the museum?
Yeah. He's. I wish I knew his full title, but he's in charge of education. So getting kids to come in and teaching them about Dundas and the museum.
Oh, is that
and
right?
like that. Yeah.
Oh.
He's a jolly guy. He's really nice.
Oh, that must be his son. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, because I guess he was a teacher and then he retired from that, and so now he does this as kind of occupy his time. But
I see. Yeah.
So semi-retired, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know whether they said John was 90. I know he had a birthday.
I think he might be 90. That sounds familiar from...
Not too long ago, August or something. Because I think I phoned up and left a message, happy birthday.
Oh, nice.
When I found out it was his birthday. Or I'd just come up someplace or other. Yeah. But he is.
I think I'm going to start packing up, unless you have... Do you have anything you want to say? Because I have all day, technically.
I hope that I didn't disappoint you.
No, not at all. We got to dig out a couple stories. I got to hear more about the town. I love this stuff. That's what I'm here for.
And where did you grow up, Devin?
So I originally grew up in Binbrook.
Oh, yeah.
And then my mom moved kind of downtown Hamilton when I was later in high school, when I could drive.
Uh-huh.
But my dad still, my parents split up. So my dad lived in Binbrook and my mom, she moved downtown. And so I kind of jumped between the two, which I hated at first. I always liked living in the country, I just like the space and how quiet it is out there. And my mom moved into the city, and I was furious. I couldn't handle it, just all the noise and the people. And but now I live kind of in the area. My mom.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah, my mom moved away. She lives in Peterborough now.
Oh.
But so I kind of live in that area because I got really used to it, and it's a nice area. And I never thought I'd say I like the city, but I do just enough at least.
That's not too bad, Lock Street way.
No, exactly. It's the nicer area. It's
Yeah.
quieter. It's, all the people around there are really friendly and nice. I don't find there's too much trouble in that area at all.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah.
But I always think that's weird because I knew when we first moved downtown, I was just so furious at being.
Where did you live down when you moved downtown?
So it was I moved to Peter Street, which is just off of Lock Street.
Oh yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah, so I moved there, and I mean it was nice, but you know, a country kid moving into the city, I was not.
Yeah, and how old were you?
I was maybe 16, 15,
Yeah,
16,
yeah.
like that.
Oh.
You know, all my friends were in the country.
Oh yes, yes indeed.
Yeah, so it was a big difference for me, but I grew to like it, and I was driving at the time.
Oh,
so
I
I
see.
could at least go out there, but it was like a half-hour, 40-minute drive to see anybody. But it's nice because I have about 6 friends that I kind of remain really close with from the country. We're not all the same age, but we're all in and around the same age. But we all grew up in Binbrook, and we all get along great. And I've been
that's
friends
nice.
for years,
Yeah.
My mom's always said she's super happy that happened. That I have this like small group of friends that I get to hang out with. It's a mix of guys and girls, and
Yeah.
it's just nice.
That's nice. Yeah. It is really nice to have friends like that you grew up with.
Well, it helps because, I mean, everybody, you know, as you get older, you change and you figure out what you like and don't like. But even my friends, you know, they might believe in different things than me, but it's like we always get along no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I've argued with them about different things, but it's always in good fun now. Like, you know, even differences in voting, we argue, but it's never like a fight.
Yeah.
Who votes for what?
When I worked at the bank and I had a little problem and had to go to have radiation, and so one of the girls who I knew from the bank, her daughter was having radiation, and so Marion said to the girl, has my friend Norma been in today? And the girl said, I don't know, no, I hadn't been in. And she said, have you been friends long? And Marion said, I said to her, about 60 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm only at about 15 years with these friends right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is nice. And I think that's how the boys are in Dundas too. They're, like David said, that one of the boys who hasn't been that well, and he's sort of sick, I guess, and out of town, and David said they're having a retirement party for him, and he said, I'm going to be away, so I won't be able to go, and feel so badly about it. Yeah, 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 yeah.